Hello and welcome back to Woven Webs. Today, we have a 24-year-old woman that claims she didn't know the man she hooked up with a few times a year ago was married. But it gets better. The wife of her old lover is now in her friend group, and she's just invited OP to her birthday party. How cozy. Now this comes from a throwaway account in the relationships subreddit, and she titles it, "Should I, a 24-year-old woman, tell a woman that I slept with her husband, a 28-year-old guy?" Now, this is a bit of a complicated story. I met this guy a year ago through mutual friends, and we started a brief sexual relationship where we hooked up a few times for about a month. He was friends with the guys we would all go out with on weekends. I initially was told he had a wife in a different country, and nothing ever happened. Now, over time, he started confiding in me that they were actually broken up and going through a divorce, and he made me promise to not tell anybody or his friends because it was embarrassing for him. Now, I know, looking back, this is a huge red flag, but I was naive, and I've since learned from this experience. So we started to hook up, and I fully believed during this time he was single. Now, after about a month, I found out his wife was visiting him for the weekend. Now, I was in total shock. I called him out immediately, and I told him he needed to confess to his wife. He told me that I didn't understand and that the relationship was complicated. Now, I didn't think somebody could lie like this, and I went through therapy for months, and it took me a long time to let go of the guilt from all this. So shortly after, and to note, I was located in another country for the last year, but I've since moved back. Last month, I went out with some of my friends, and he and his wife were both there. And I found out she was moving to our country for him, and he introduced us and acted like nothing was wrong. And now, to top it all off, she's just invited me to her birthday party this Friday. As again, there are some mutual friends. Now, I'm not going as I don't think it's right to see her and act like nothing happened. But the question is this: should I tell the wife what happened? Her and her boyfriend are not as close with my friend group as I am, but they sometimes get invited to events. Now, for context, I've been back for about 3 months, and this is the only time I've seen them so far. But for me, I can't live with knowing they might be at future events. But if I tell her, everyone is going to know I held this in for a year, and this all would likely cause serious drama. The wife moved her entire life from another country here, and I also refuse to just stop seeing my actual friends because he might be there. Please, anyone who can share some good advice. And for the comments, Funny Fisherman 931 starts off. He says, "Yes, she deserves to know, especially now that you might see her, but be prepared because she might not believe you." And OP in her throwaway account responds to that comment. She says, "I have text messages between us, making plans to hang out, me calling him out on his cheating, and him giving all of his excuses." And Funny Fisherman 931 responds back, "Great, then start by saying that you had no idea he was married, and then give her all the evidence. The rest, it's up to her." And Angela says, "This isn't complicated. You're having an affair with a married man who has no conscience and introduces you to his wife like everything is okay. There's going to be drama regardless of what you do, so be prepared for that. Just send her screenshots of the text messages, and it's up to her as how she wants to handle it." And for the final comment, Not Excused writes in, "While she deserves to know, I also think about how this can negatively impact you. How will this impact your social circle? Any professional connections, etc.? If you don't have any friends who are connected to you professionally and you feel confident about friends taking your side, then you can move ahead. But I think it's worth considering if any risks outweigh the benefits. It's unlikely you're the only person he cheated on her with. She may already know. Basically, and I'm probably more of a morally gray person, protect yourself before strangers. My suggestion is that telling her is the right thing to do, but it's not the required thing to do. Great idea to tell your friends first to get the vibe and have support. They're very likely to find out, so it's better they're on your side before it all breaks out, intentionally or unintentionally." Now, the way I read this, I don't think the woman knew he was married a year ago when she was sleeping with him. And unfortunately for her, she finds herself in an uncomfortable situation now. And I agree with the last guy. She is under no moral obligation to tell the wife or tell her friends or tell anyone. Personally, I would not tell the wife. I would tell no one or tell your friends. But what do you all think? Let us know in the comments, and I appreciate you listening.